Hello, good night, everyone. Good night. I thought we have already few seconds already in streaming, and I didn't realize that we were live. Sorry about that. I'm the one and only Mass Meeple here, presenting as your host for the After Game Night podcast, episode 5. Tonight, I'm hosting alone because unfortunately, my partner in crime, Axel, will not be able to join us. It's a shame. We will miss him, sort of, or not. Maybe after we ended this episode, we found out that he's not anymore necessary. I'm just kidding. Of course, we are going to miss him, or not. We'll find out. And especially because we have a very, very, very special guest that will join us tonight. I'm pretty excited about this. We were trying to make this podcast with the most accurate information possible every time. Obviously, and for obvious reason, that's not possible because we know everything, and sometimes we really need an expert voice to help us and give us a hand to go more in deep and with the details that we really want to hear from someone that is really into a specific topic. And as you can see, and as you may already seen in our social networks, tonight's episode is about artificial intelligence in board gaming industry. Uh, this is a topic that we were very excited to talk about last week, and we tried to go more in detail, but we also realized that this is a very, very complex topic, and we will probably will waste, not waste, but we will probably will spend an entire episode talked about this topic. So that's why we have decided that it will be great to have the chance to maybe ask someone that is expert in this topic to help us tonight to better understand first and then give us their opinion on what is going on, what is the perspective, what is her perspective in this case about everything that is going on related with the artificial intelligence creating art for board games. So I would like to welcome tonight our very, very special guest, Natalia Rojas. So, with no further introduction, hello, Natalia. How are you tonight?
Hi, good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm very excited. As I just said, um, it's such an honor. I'm talking because Axel, also, I know that for sure. We are big fans of your work. We are big fans of what you are being developing for the gaming industry specifically, and I think we all know, or at least our viewers and us, we know you more for your work in Wingspan. Just take a look on that. So it's everywhere. Wingspan is everywhere in these days, right? And if you can just also read just below the title of Wingspan, you can see Natalia's name right there. So it's such an honor. This is great. Like I said, once again, I'm pretty excited about this, and I just want to welcome you and thank you for accepting the invitation tonight.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm nervous.
No, that's okay. We're all nervous, and the thing is, the podcast is just about talking
Yeah,
friendly. It's like the name of the podcast is After Game Night because what happened after you play a couple of games is just like relax. Even if you just got frustrated because you was in the game,
yeah.
or very excited because you're winning, that's okay. It's just the thing that happened after we have a very, very good game night. So just relax, and whatever you want to say, it will be better. Whatever I can say, that's for sure. Thank you,
Oh
thank you.
goodness, I don't know about that, but thanks for the invitation. I'm very happy to be here. Appreciate it.
No, not appreciated. Well, so yeah, well, let's try to get into our known structure of the of every episode. Just wanted to let you know that we have like these three main sections
Mhm.
in our episodes. So the first one is we try to share with our audience what we have been playing in the last week. So we just share with them about the games that we were playing, and if there is something new. So just a couple of overviews about the games that we were playing. So if you don't mind, I would like just to share with them the games that, in my case, I've been playing at home, and then I will ask you something about that in
Yeah.
particular that we're talking about of record. So just quick intervention here. Last week, I had a chance to try three games with my regular group of gaming. The first game that I tried and I was very excited to play after a long time that I wasn't able to play was Tyrants of the Underdark. This game that is all about um, combat and area control and everything that you can imagine possible in terms of a deck building game. So it's such a great game. Showing you now some pictures about it, and we can talk about a little bit if you want, Natalia, about the art of this game. What do you think about it? Because for me, it's also I consider this game art very, very pretty in terms of let me try to find a specific um, cards art that this game has. This is some very old pictures here for the game, but basically we are controlling some clans in the game, and we are trying to have control of certain areas in the board. And with that, we are going to award points for defeating other players' troops, and also for the points value of each of the cards that we are going to recruit in our army. So the game, let me, here we go, here we go. So this is part of what we were talking about. So is this? I don't know if you consider this kind of classic art or
Yeah.
fantasy art, right?
Uh-huh.
Because these kind of dragons and monsters and
Yeah.
ghouls and everything. Even though when you can see the art is kind of I don't know, medieval, or I don't know. I'm not. That's why you're here, because you are the expert and you can explain us about this. But what do you think about the art in this game, Natalia? From what
That's
you're
pretty
seeing?
cool. I like it. I think it's really neat. Well, I don't know. Well, I'm not expert. Let's start there. I
You're
just do
you're
my
expert
little bird drawings, but
there. That's something that I will not be able to do, or that's for sure. So that that makes you an expert from our
oh
point of view.
wow.
That's for sure, Natalia.
Yeah,
No,
no. I
mhm.
really don't know much, but this is I like this. This is pretty cool. That I mean, it looks like it's digital art for what I can see,
Mm,
which is like what I'm guessing.
yeah, that.
It doesn't look like traditional art to me.
Okay.
But this, that's what I can see from here, and it would make more sense to me to work and do digital art for this kind of game that is more like fantasy.
Mm,
It would take forever to recreate this with not traditional medium like a paint or drawing, whatever. That would take, like, doing that dragon with the background and everything. That would be at least, I don't know, 80, 100 hours,
wow.
if not more, of painting and drawing. So I guess it
Interesting.
makes more sense to do that in digital. Also, like, you can achieve some effects that
Hmm.
are very hard to do on traditional media, or the
Wow.
digital art is more extensive. I guess I don't do digital art, so it's just all assumptions,
No,
not
but that
expert.
those assumptions make total sense, and especially
Yeah.
because sometimes, well, especially nowadays, you can find, and this is part of the topic that we are going to talk later, some tools, right?
Mhm.
And now platforms that generate
Yeah.
this kind of images, right? And yeah, as you're saying, you can. get impressed by the some details, but at the same time, um, it's hard to understand all the logic or all the work that is behind scenes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, it's great to have this point of view, to have this share of thoughts about the art, because as you said, there is even when this is not a classical what do you call it's not a classical
Mm-hmm.
or
Yeah, traditional.
traditional, right? It also has a lot of work
Oh
into it,
yes.
right?
Oh, yeah. And I'm not
It
saying that
requires. Mhm.
is easier in any way. It can
Mm,
sometimes even be harder or take as long as a traditional piece.
makes
I
sense.
think it's another tool, but it's as respectable as traditional. It's still art,
Mm,
and yeah, I don't dare to try it myself. It's really hard. You really need to know what you are doing. It does
mhm,
take a lot of practice and learning to be able to create something like that. Of course, with if you it's something that you do more in your daily basics, I guess that it can get you it can get easier, you can get faster as has. What I understand with digital art is like you have some settings that are already pre-programmed that you can manipulate or use some tools to
yes.
like to do a background faster, let's say, instead of if I'm going to draw it, I still have to do manually draw all the thing.
Mm,
But if I already have a background that I like with digital art, I guess I can just use that and paint on top of it or add or take out things in a more effective way, I would say. But I think it takes, as some art can take as long. And
mm.
the people that do traditional art, and especially and for board games, I mean, all my respects to them because
No, yeah,
yeah, it's
it,
not
it
easy. Hmm.
it happened to me sometimes that and this is true, huh? That I don't even know what the board game is about, but the first impressions that you have is from the art, right? From the
Hmm.
artwork, from the pieces, for
Yeah.
the production itself, for the painting, for the drawing, for I mean,
Hmm.
in general, all the components that makes the game. And sometimes also the games is not as good as the art, in my opinion as well. But it's 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 amazing how you can get engaged with a game without knowing much. But the first is like love comes from from sight. That's what they say, right?
Yeah.
Love,
Yeah.
so sometimes when you look at some cover of board game, or just the components or the cards or any piece of the artwork within the board game, you can get
Yeah.
engaged with the
Yeah.
game and just trying. At least you will like to play it. You will like to,
Hmm.
have the sense of what this game is about. So I totally agree with you. This is a great. There is a great work behind scenes
Yeah.
in order to get all this done. And as you said, also
Mhm.
all my respect for people who is in charge of generating all this art. So yeah, this is the first game I played. Tyrants of the Underdark. Right now is considered also a classic because it was released a while ago. It was reprinted, unfortunately, with the latest reprint of this game. Some of the production itself was not the same, because in the past you have some sort of miniatures for the factions, and they just change it for some piece of cardboard, which is sad, but the game is really good, so I enjoyed it anyway. And it was the first time I introduced this game to my group of friends, and they also like it. They love it. I lost for sure. That's and I enjoyed the time anyway. So the next game I would like to share with you is Fort. Fort from leather games, and this is also something about the art in this game, which, as you can see, is completely different, right?
Yeah.
It's just another type of art, if I can say that. Uh, but it's also very interesting. It's a different way of. Well, let me tell you about the game. The game is about trying to recreate your childhood memories, not mine, because it were different, but most of the childs around this country, I guess, this world, they will they like to play in their backyard, uh, creating some forts, creating some games that they even invented. So this is the game. This is what this game is about. Just having a group of friends, and every friend will help you to play along the day, and then you can have new friends, because we were a child, and you have one friend one day, and maybe the day after you have a different friend. So things that happen as a kid. But there was also some friends that will remain forever, the unconditional friends. So it's also another deck building game where you are going to try to build your fort. And in order to do that, you have to gain some resources, which in this game are toys and pizzas, because this is what the kids like, right? Pizza and toys. So yeah, it's also another great deck building game. It also combines another um, type of gaming, but as well, I would like just to have an opinion on this on the artwork of this game, because like I said, it's completely different. It's
Yeah.
a different piece of work. And yeah, this what do you think? Do you think this specific art may be created in the traditional way, or there were also you think it was created in a digital way?
Huh.
From what you're seeing here, I mean, I also
I don't
also.
know. I don't know. I think, I mean, it looks really fun, but the artwork, I don't know, because it gives me the sense of like people that draw cartoons,
Mm-hmm.
but they also translate it. I think they might like scan it to turn it into like digital or something. So
Mm-hmm.
I
because
don't know.
comics the comic artists, they're
Hmm.
also working in a digital way, right? Nowadays they just draw. They also use tools. Like I said, I'm just talking from my ignorance right here.
Not all of it. Like I have a
Okay.
good friend that he does graphic novels and comics, and
Mm,
he
nice.
still draws them like paper with a pen, but I think they just need to like scan those pages and so they can reproduce it and print it.
Hmm.
But he still works a traditional way. But I think I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, it
this
could
is
be
like
both.
trying to.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does look like it's drawn. I mean, it's definitely is hand drawn. I don't know if
Okay.
on paper or with a like a what
Hmm.
is it called, digital pen or no.
Okay.
Mm,
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
but I
Perfect.
don't know.
But
But that's fun.
you like it? Do you like it? Do you think
I
it's
like
like?
it. Yeah, it's
Good.
fun. I mean, I was thinking like I would like to play this.
Ah,
The other
nice.
one too.
Mm,
So
perfect. Perfect. Yeah. So that's the idea. That's the idea that we would like to do is just by sharing what we played
mhm,
and sharing our thoughts, and maybe some people that haven't had the chance to play the game, just like I said, getting age with either with the images that we are sharing, or and with our thoughts about the game. So it's great. It's great that so
did you
far.
like it? How do you like this one?
Oh, I like it. This game
Okay.
has two expansions already available. It's two, no, one expansion that is 2-on-1, right? It's just one box that contains two
Okay.
modules, but it's considered one expansion because it's called Cats and Dogs. Because as a kid, you can also have pets, and you can have a cat or a dog, right? So it's
Yeah.
very thematic from a certain point of view, because as a kid, you like to hang out with other kids, and you are trying to get some pizza and try to work together to build a fort.
Mhm.
It's great. Also, there are some cards that can have some mean effects, because some kids could be mean, not in a rude way, not a bullying
Yeah.
way, but they could be mean sometime, right? Because they're
Yeah.
also kids. So from that point of view, in my opinion, is very thematic, and that's one of the things that I like the most why I like the most the game, and also because I love deck building games, and this one really has that feeling of not that you don't have, or you have more option, not only one row of cards from where you can take cards. You can also steal friends from another player's backyard, because sometimes you have a coolest video game at home, and maybe you can ask another friend from the other house to come by and spend time with you. So like I said, it's really nice. It's very strategic. The only thing I maybe don't like that much is because at some point the game can give you that feeling that maybe is not fair enough with all the cards, because there are some cards that are too powerful in my opinion, and some cards that were not. And sometimes you have to work together the cards in order to create great combos. But in general, I really like the game. This was also the first time that I introduced the game to my group of friends. They also like it, so it's so far so good. Two of two.
Okay, good.
And the last game that I played from last week was Ross Lancashire. This is a game from Martin Wallace, designer, and this is a game that is placed on thematically. We are playing in the Industrial Revolution, right? We have two eras: the Canal era and the Rail era. So in the Canal era, you can try to create some routes of canals and try to either build some industries in certain cities of London, and then you try to at the same time produce enough resources to spend it. And once you spend all the resources of certain factories or certain industries, you will earn points for all the tiles that represent your companies or your industries in the game. Uh, this is, I think, the most complex game that we have played with my group of friends so far. At the beginning, they was thinking that it was like, oh, kind of confused because this game has a lot of rules. But after maybe a couple of rounds, they start, understand better the system, and they like it. They ended liking the game as well. But I think at the same time, uh, changing from Ford and then moving to this game was
Yeah,
a little too much somehow. But this is part of the gaming, right? That you have
yeah.
a lot of variety of games, and you can just, moving from one to another, and try to discover if this game fits to you and also the group of
Mhm.
your group of friends. So I would like to share some also in terms of the art. Let me see if I can find a, well, as you can see, the art is most presented here on the tiles, but
Yeah.
it's pretty much the same. What I like the most is the board. The board has this gothic theme, may I say, maybe because
Hmm.
it's dark. Is that feeling that you are in London, with all this
Yeah.
mist, and so that also create an atmosphere in the game. So you can see here is a map present in a very dark theme. Maybe, you can also see the cover of the game is this dark theme, right?
Yeah.
Let me try to find out a specific uh, for the cover. But so far, and I don't know if there is something or any comment that you have here related with the art. Oh, you can see here that maybe you can.
It's just it's so cool. It's just it's cool looking. What I can say. I mean, the
Right?
people that do this are they really know what they are doing.
Mm,
It just cuts your attention right away, and I think that's what a good art for a board game should be. That you just by seeing the box, you're like, oh, that's you're intrigued, and
mm-hmm.
that's what I get from this. It just like I want to learn more about the what was
Right?
it industrial revolution.
Yeah, at the beginning,
Yeah.
it can sound like, oh yeah, it will be fun playing about, or trying to imperson um, a millionaire back in the days in the London,
Mhm.
you know, from the 19th century, blah blah blah. It's a lot of thematic theme
Mhm.
in the back end as well.
But see,
But
I think that's what why the art is so important, the board games, because you can tell someone, let's play something about the industrial revolution in London or whatever. And if you don't have a graphic, it's like it doesn't sound that interesting. I mean, it might
right?
be interesting, but it's like, I don't know. But if you show something like this, it looks so cool. Then you get excited. It's like, oh yeah, let's learn about this.
Yeah, totally
Yeah.
agree on that. Totally agree
Mm-hmm.
on you. And this is a good picture here because this is the on the right side. You can see the latest version, the latest printing of the game, and on the left side, there was um, the first time the game was available. This is how it looks, right? So it's a big difference
Mm.
between between one and
Yes,
another. It's very
huge.
huge difference, and also this is part of the graphic designers how they can change from this, because if you presented to me the game and it looks like this, maybe I will be, like, okay,
Uh-huh.
right? But then
Yeah.
you show me this word here, and I will like, okay,
Hmm.
this looks really nice, right?
It's really
This
cool
looks
to see
interesting,
how it evolves. And
right?
it's same with with video games. Like, I used to play, I don't know, Super Mario World in the 90s, and
Mm-hmm.
then to see now the new versions, and my daughter's playing, like, wait a minute, I cannot play that. It's just, like old 3D, like gets me dizzy because I'm used to the 2D. But
Yeah,
it's the same. So it's really cool to see how it's evolving, how board games really are just catching up. They have
yeah.
to, yeah, do it more exciting for people, make it more appealing.
And do you think this evolution, if I can say that,
Mm-hmm.
um, is because also, or part of this is because of the technology evolution as well, the tools that we have, or just it's something else? I always been intrigued about this because I don't know why. Maybe if you go back, maybe in the mid-century, last century, and you take a look on the graphic designs everywhere, not
Mm-hmm.
specifically in board games in general, uh, and the propaganda or in just merchandise, everywhere. The graphic design was
Yeah.
different, very different,
Yeah.
right? And maybe for their time, that was cool. And they was also they
Yeah.
got impressed with that. They were like, "Oh my God, this looks really very real." This um, big, when you go in the driveway and you can see some announcements there with the family. And back in the day, back in the 60s, let's say, the 60s from the
Mm-hmm.
last century, it looks very different as you can see now.
Yeah.
Maybe also because you can now put just a picture there, and
Mm-hmm.
it will be very realistic because it's a real picture, right?
Yeah.
But in terms of the graphic design, in terms
Mhm.
of the style itself, do you think what are your thoughts about why you think or why you believe the art has been also evolving, or the graphic design has also evolving throughout the years?
Well, it's just it's the mm, it's the same as with everything. It's just we need more. Like
Mm,
the technology, as you get something, then somebody is already working on something new, and our brains now need so much because the technology is everywhere, and then it's like there is this pressure to bring in the new thing, the coolest thing. It's like with the iPhone, like now it's like a new iPhone every, like, I don't know, like
yeah.
6 months or something.
Hmm.
And then because there's always something, and it's happening everywhere. So I think you need to keep people's attention, and
Right.
then our our minds nowadays are just so busy, and we are everything is so cool looking.
Mm-hmm.
Then if you're going to bring something new, then you really need to step up and bring something more exciting. But it's curious because at the same time, I think that Wingspan, for example, took a step back in that aspect, bringing
Mm.
back like traditional art.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
But we'll talk about that in a moment. But in that particular case, when I don't know if you refer or you're saying about the way or the techniques that you're using or you use to create all your illustrations, or the way the illustrations were presented. Because for me, every time I play the game and I can see any illustration of a bird in a card, it's very
Hmm.
realistic. It's realistic,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah. It's it's called scientific illustration.
Mm,
But when we were hired to do the Wingspan illustrations, they wanted to do traditional art similar to Audubon's work, and then
okay.
uh, it was is the art as it was. Let me go back. So scientific illustration started because back in the day there were not cameras to take
Mm-hmm.
pictures, so if people wanted to document a bird or a specimen, a plant,
Okay,
whatever, they needed
makes
to
sense.
draw it, and it had to be
Mm,
very accurate. It's what you see in like the botanical artworks and the even like for medicine books,
mm-hmm.
that
It's
is all hand drawn and then very detailed, very precise.
right.
So it's like Winspan who could have done still very realistic artwork, but more like, I don't know, a different background, make it like more, um, I don't know how to say it, like more, oh goodness, um, like these graphic things that we were seeing in the
Mm-hmm.
other games. Um, just something more like eye striking. I don't know, but
Okay.
I think that the simplistic illustrations, because they barely have any background or it's no like something too saturated or anything.
Uh-huh.
It's just very clean, and then it's just the bird. It's just for you to appreciate the bird. So I think that it brought back something important for the board games and was like bringing back the traditional artwork.
Yeah, makes sense.
Gave it like a new, it was something new for the viewer, for the
Yeah,
people who enjoys the game, because we're getting so used to the digital and to like too much detail everywhere, that
mm,
having just a simplistic artwork with a clean background is like, it's relaxing.
right. Yeah, no,
So
I love you share this with us, and I'll tell you right now why. Because one thing for sure is every time when you're talking about simplicity, it's one of the things that in this case, well, trying to jump step by step into the topic, but it's sometimes impossible. Just go
yeah.
right straight into the topic. But for that particular scenario, when you're playing something, and as we can see in the other games that we just presented, you can see like maybe you can say they were saturated somehow, but it worked
Hmm.
for the game, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because you need to maybe have an list or the thematic and within the game you wanted to see the background full of darkness or full of castles or an epic background, so that makes you feel that you are maybe into the game, you are
Yes.
living a different experience. But in the case of Wingspan, everything makes sense in terms of the thematic, because thematically you are a bird observer and you are
Hmm.
collecting birds,
Yeah.
collecting by drawing. It's like if when you are seeing it or you're watching a bird and instead of drawing, you're just collecting the car, right? Because there's
Yeah.
somebody else. made that awesome job drawing the cards and give it that chance to just get into your collection of birds. So even though in that case it was really nice thought the way the game was designed in terms of the artwork, because if you are a bird collector or a bird observer, um, the way back in the days, like I said, you don't have
Mhm.
cameras to just take a picture, you
Yeah.
draw the bird.
Mm-hmm.
And that also made you feel special because it's like, oh, look at the collection of birds that I just had,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
that also made you appreciate not only it's like part of it's one part of a big whole, right? When you have your hobby is, in this case, being outside and watch, observe some birds and have this memory for you
Mm-hmm.
because maybe it's relaxing, maybe because whatever the reason is. And on top of that, you are trying to save that memory for you, and they may be sharing with others by drawing. And
Yeah.
it's yours. It's your drawing. Is the way
Yeah.
you interpret.
Yeah.
You are even imagine or you are interpreting the bird, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're I don't know. This is just a talk, but that's also one of the
Yeah.
things that I enjoy the most in the game, because at the beginning, to be honest, I'll share with you the way I
Yeah.
got engaged with Wingspan in a moment, but it was pretty much the same thing. From the moment I saw the box art, I was like, oh my God, what is this? It was just so simple, you know,
Yeah.
so simple, so clean, just
Mm-hmm.
a bird and that's it. So
Mm-hmm.
and also the illustration was really beautiful, really nice, and it was like, okay, what is inside the box? And
Yeah.
then everything inside just complemented the artwork, the gameplay, everything itself.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll talk about that later in a moment. Just let's try to close this section here by this is what happened.
Sorry.
This is what happened, right? This is the idea of the
Yeah.
podcast, just having a conversation and just whoa, start talking about something, and this is what happened to us every time. Don't worry. Um, so yeah, I had to ask you, Natalia, have you tried or play any game recently? Is one of the things that we want to know.
So I always feel with that question like I am such a deception of the board games world because I'm not a gamer.
Okay.
I don't play board games. I just never. I don't know. I never got into when I was younger, and then I started having kids and then
Mm,
working, and then I
mm,
never had the time for it.
okay.
I have tried. I mean, I play Wingspan sometimes with friends because it's like
Yeah.
almost part of the job. It will be embarrassing as it is.
Right.
And but I'm not really that much into board games. It takes I wish I honestly I wish the same thing. I wish I could have the time to sit and read a book. I wish I
Mm,
had the time to play a board game. Right now I don't have the time, or I'm always tired. I have three kids. But we do play a few things in
mm,
the family. Like I have a 20-month-old. She likes Hi Ho Cheerio.
that's
So
nice. Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. Yeah, I mean everything counts. Everything counts, and I totally get it. I totally get it.
yeah,
I feel you. Honestly, I also have two kids, and I understand it's adultness, and it hurts. I know.
yeah. It's.
And
I mean, I know we could make the time for it, but honestly, I don't want to be dragging three kids to teach them or try to learn again if they are not into it. And I know
right.
that time will come when they are older, so I'm not rushing. So right
Mm-hmm.
now we're not playing. We play like Uno. We play Domino,
That's nice.
Parcheesi.
Mm-hmm. No, that's great.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, we play Cats.
I don't know
Cat
about
is a
that
cat or
one.
cat.
No.
It's a board game.
Oh
It's
yeah, yeah.
cool.
The cat,
Yes, they have to
the thing.
draw.
tic tac toe. I guess they call here. I think
Oh, no, 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 no. It's a board game. I think it's called Cat or Cats. It's
a board game. Okay.
like you have these cat figures and then you have to draw them based on,
Hmm.
you have cards with different themes, if it's like a movie or a song or
Wow.
something,
No.
and then you have your little cat, then you have to convert the cat into whatever theme. So like if you got a card of like Rambo, then you have to draw your cat like looking like Rambo. The other people have to guess what movie it was, and just based
Hmm.
on your drawing on the cat, and it is really funny.
Okay. Yeah. No.
So
It sounds fun. It sounds very fun. Oh, definitely. Oh, okay,
yeah,
look at that. I never hear about that one. Yeah, but I mean, like I said, everything counts because that's the I think honestly, this the fundamentals of board gaming, in my opinion. I'm not trying to sound here as an expert in board gaming, or, anything like that. It's just like uh, the way it's very important that whatever you do, you are able to do in full. You know, enjoy
yes,
the
yeah,
hobby, whatever
mm-hmm.
it is.
Yeah,
And if anything around you is not allowing you to enjoy the hobby in full, it's just, sometimes maybe at some point, like I said, or maybe not.
yeah,
And this also show us that it's not necessarily to people to really go into board gaming to create or contribute into the hobby. And this is
yeah,
amazing. This is amazing because sometimes I know a lot of people, and this also they have all my respect as well, that when they think that they are good players, they will be also good designers, or they will be a good illustrators, or maybe because they have a good idea and they think they will create such a good game. Sometimes not being a good player or being a good collector of board games
yeah,
will not make you a great designer, right? And in this case is the opposite. In this from this point of view, you are a great illustrator and not necessarily are a collector, or even consider yourself a board gamer, right? But you enjoy what you do, and thank you for that because because of that we have one of the greatest game ever, in my opinion.
oh,
So
thanks.
so yeah, thank you for sharing that with us as well. It's very interesting. And yeah, maybe at some point, there's no pressure here, at some point maybe you would like to start exploring board games,
Yeah,
but I would like to give you a little warning here. Something that I wish somebody could tell you in the past: just take it easy. If Because at some point, if you start getting more engaged with the hobby,
yeah,
start buying. It's oh my God, it also will affect a lot of things around you.
yes,
So it will make you not only a board gamer in terms of a player, but also a buyer and a
yes,
collector, and it's
mm-hmm.
expensive.
Oh yeah,
So there are a lot of things, and there are priorities. So I totally can
yeah,
understand that in case that happens. So yeah, definitely that. So let's talk about now about the topic that allow us to having you here tonight. Um, First is, what do you think about? Well, let me put some context first here. Recently, we have some news that certain companies um, they are considering to start using artificial intelligence
mm-hmm.
to generate art for their board games. I don't want to say any names here. There is public information because I don't want to point out things. I just want to point out I mean, no, not subjects, things. In this
Yeah,
case, topics, right? Um, because I will give you my opinion here.
yeah,
Art, or whatever thing that you do, it has your own signature some way,
mm-hmm.
right? it has part of your personality. It has part some it has, whatever you do, even when you cook, it's the way you cook, the way
Mhm.
you laugh, the
Yeah.
way everything you do is your own, is the way you do, and that extends to your work.
Mhm.
And in terms of the artificial intelligence, all the work that they do, or the software or the platforms or the technology itself, is taking the knowledge previously generated by other persons, and then
Mhm.
recreate or try to create something new from there. But it's nothing related with an style. It's just a mixture of ideas or
Mhm.
um, methods or ways to do from other real persons.
Yeah.
So starting from that from that point, I consider that is completely unfair. First, second is it lost a lot of sense in terms of what you are trying or what you're looking as part of the art itself. We'll put aside in a
Mhm.
moment in terms of the board gaming, because art is something that people creates, right?
Yeah.
The people that has talent for that. Not all the people, or maybe you can consider a couple of lines. I consider my children's drawings art, right?
Yeah.
But it's theirs, is
It
what they
is
do,
art. Yeah.
is what they do.
Yeah.
And if at some point I see an artificial intelligence coming and try to recreate their style, I will know that it's not from them. It's
Mhm.
not theirs. So based on that, I would like to hear from you. What's your opinion of that?
I think you're absolutely right. I so I wanted to when you asked me about coming and talk about this, I wanted to do a little research and see what are the board games that or companies that want to use it and like why it's making noise. But
Mm-hmm.
I ended up not having time, so just my
Yeah, well,
thought.
I can tell you about that. Is it will not be. Yeah, it will be fun. But yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
at least I'm not influenced. That's for sure.
No, 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 not like that. Uh-huh.
So I think it all depends. It depends. Um, First of all, I agree with what you say. It is um, art has to come from someone to be really art. Um, that's, I'm sorry. I sometimes I think too many ideas, and then I start rambling, and I don't
It
say
happened to me
anything.
often, very often. So don't worry. I totally understand you.
Yeah. So, um, can you create art for a board game artificially? Yes. How good is it going to be? I don't know. Is it going to contribute to the success of the game or not? I doubt that. I think
Mm,
art needs the personal touch. I
mm-hmm,
mean, you need to hear, as an artist, you need to hear from the designer about their vision so you can create the art for that particular thing, which in a sense could be like artificial art. I mean, you have someone has to communicate the idea,
mm-hmm,
but it's going to lack the heart. It's not going to have that personal touch, and it could, I don't know how good it's going to be. It's like a song or a poem, a book can be done by artificial intelligence. Yes. How good is it going to be? I don't think it's going to be that good. It's more mechanical.
mm-hmm,
Right now, I don't know if it evolves to something greater. I mean, it should, but why I say it depends on is I also think that the available tools are there to be used.
mm-hmm,
So to me, it's not the same if you're a freelancer designer and you don't have the means to do the art yet for your board game, but you have a really good idea and you wanted to get it out, but you don't have the money to hire the best artist. So your research would be to use artificial intelligence. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with a designer to just bring out their ideas in a
Mhm.
way that can get them out there and maybe make the money so that one day they can create really cool art, hire good artists to do that.
Mhm.
Um, I would have a different saying if it's a company that is already well established and have the money to pay for art just because they want,
Mhm.
like be cheap. If
Mhm.
it's for like saving money, I say not nice.
Mhm.
But if artificial intelligence is giving them something that the artist cannot give them, I also say go for it because it's a tool like
Mhm.
everything. So I'm not going to be offended by that.
Okay.
Really, I don't
Okay.
know. It's
No,
just
it.
like with everything in life, it depends of
Mhm.
the scenario and how you use the things. If someone is coming to me and say, hey, I am a board game designer, I have this cool game, but I don't have money, can you draw it for exposure? I'm going to say no, we'll do it with the artificial intelligence or
Of
something.
course. Of course. Of course.
um so it is all very relative, like everything in life.
Oof. Yes. No. It's it. You know, I think our idea was to, once we hear you, maybe we'll have a the the sea open of, for the context and everything. But it's just too complex for that. There are, like you said, a lot of scenarios, a lot of
Yeah.
ways to explore the topic, because at some point you can also consider the ethics, um,
Yeah.
on using that. And one of the things that, particularly for board gaming industry, was that that's the rumor, right?
Mm-hmm.
That these companies that were not hiding the idea of using artificial intelligence for their project, for their upcoming project, was to avoid big expenses in
Yeah.
the art, which we enter in this particular scenario with this dilemma of
Yeah.
why you will like, if, because the game itself is great. A lot of people, it
Mm-hmm.
is one of those games that you can either hate or love. Most of the
Mm-hmm.
people that I know love the game. I particularly like, I love the game. I consider the game a great game. And to be honest, when I played, I didn't bother about the art within the game, because
Mm-hmm.
for me it was like, even I was curious about how they created initially the illustrations, or the
Mm-hmm.
art, or the pictures, or whatever, for the cards. I never investigated how they did it,
Yeah.
but for me it wasn't really a big deal. It wasn't a big thing when I played the
Mm-hmm.
game, because the game itself created the for me the enough feeling of having a good game already, without
Yeah.
taking a look, or being more details about the art. But there are also some players that they would like to have, you know a game, that, or an art for such a good game that corresponds with the game.
Yeah.
That's their opinion. I never thought about that, to be honest. For me, it was like, it's good as it is right now. But then, when the company started considering to have a better art for their games, my first thought was, okay, they will be hiring someone
Mm-hmm.
with a big name in the industry, because to match the popularity of the
Yeah.
game. And it tried to I was thinking, like, imagine, no, like, imagine if you have a really popular and good game, and you recreate, or try to have a new version, a new printing or expansion of your game, with a very famous artist in the industry, or a
Mhm.
very famous illustrator, or someone that is also really into, or maybe not into in the industry, maybe just a really good illustrator, right? Someone that
Yeah.
really knows about all, like you said, all the gathering requirement. And the gathering requirements for any project is like talking with the client, talking with the designer, listening to them, listen what they are trying to represent and present in the table, and maybe that will give you an idea and a different feeling of what you are going to create based on that. But if you don't have that, those, like I said, back and forth comments,
Mhm.
it will be very difficult to get a really good product in the at the end, in my opinion, because you can definitely, the artificial intelligence will learn, because every
Mhm.
time learns
Yeah.
more from what you are trying. As more specific you are, the artificial intelligence will try to look more specification, or will be more specific with details in terms of the result, in any aspects, as it where the artificial intelligence is used. But at the same time, you will never have the real feedback from the artificial intelligence and from the designer. The artificial intelligence will always going to be like, okay, you like this, okay, you like this, you like this, but it will never be a real interaction. There will not there will it will never be a really in-person feelings and share of thoughts that won't really create a maybe a simplistic but a really cool art that matches with the game. That was the
Yeah.
opinion that I had, and honestly, it pissed me off a little when I read that that was the meaning of using artificial intelligence, because when they presented also the first results of those of this art, or you know,
Mm.
this, it wasn't that good. It wasn't something that,
Mhm.
boom, blow the table on this amazing art. It's not. It is
But
not,
then, how
honestly.
successful is this going to be? And that's what they have to ask. Is like, do I want to sell something that people are going to just like, or something that people are really going to love?
Hmm.
And
Exactly. Yes. 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 And I don't know how I have heard about this phrase that there is no bad publicity, right? Everything is good when they talk about something that you do, even when there are bad comments,
yeah,
or it's exposure. It's something
yeah,
that the people are talking about what you're doing. And in this case, I don't know if
mm,
all this noise, all these things that are being, spreading about the social media, on principally on BGG, which is the forum that a lot of players use to express their thoughts. Uh, I don't know if that kind of publicity or comments will impact the campaign and the yeah, I mean the game itself at the
yeah,
end, because there will be also players that will say, I don't care, I mean, I like the game, I just
yeah,
want to play more, and I don't even going to stop and take a look on the art in details.
yeah,
I just want to play the game as I've been playing in the past, because if I played the game in the past and the art was terrible, why I wouldn't play it again? Just if you're saying the art just got better a little bit, it doesn't make sense to me. I totally get it. I
yeah.
totally get it. But here we were trying to see and to explore is this opinion and the dilemma that,
Mhm.
what do you think as an illustrator, as an artist, what is your feeling about all these, that maybe in the future, I'm just, you know don't want to happen like never to you, but maybe someone says, okay, give us a budget for this project
Mhm.
here, right? And then, okay, but if I do with artificial intelligence, I will have similar results, not the same, that's for sure.
Yeah.
but just good enough results from what we are
Mm-hmm.
looking for what we are trying to achieve with our game or with whatever project we have. How you have you stopped and tried to imagine those scenarios and seeing, well, that will really piss me off, and you will be in your right, right? Hmm.
I'm thinking about it, and it doesn't piss me off. I
You're a
think
better person than me.
no, not really. It's not about. I don't know. I think you have to always do your best,
Mm,
and then you will get the recognition for it.
nice.
Eventually, I mean, you just work hard, and if you have something that is unique to offer, no one can replace it. I mean, their position, or I mean, no one, as they say, no one is indispensable, but it depends too on like who is the viewer, or like if I'm thinking about art for my house, would I rather to hang a Van Gogh or just go a Hobby Lobby?
Yeah.
It's not.
Hmm.
So I know it's not the same, and it's a lot about ethics, you said, as you
Hmm.
said, and just giving people work. But let me uh, ask you this: if in order to create art for a board game using artificial intelligence, you need to hire a full-time person to communicate the designer ideas to, and that person is in charge of making sure that the artificial intelligence is doing what it's supposed to do. And it's like, it's a translator.
Hmm.
And
Hmm. Hmm.
then that person gets paid the same that an artist would for
Oh,
doing the illustrations.
okay, okay. Mm.
Then how does that work? I mean, does that disappear the ethics dilemma? You're still employing a person to do the same
Mm.
job, but with different tools.
Hmm.
We're just assuming that it's easier to do it with artificial intelligence. And I don't know much. I don't know if it's really that easy that you just can say a few
Hmm.
words and then you have something amazing, or if it's something that requires more tuning. I
Hmm.
would guess so. If I want
Hmm.
something great, then I don't think it's something I'll be able to do just like in half an hour. I guess it takes time to,
Yeah.
then I don't know.
No,
just,
no.
just thoughts, but
Like I said before, as much as we explore and go deep into the this topic, it gets more complicated because it brings us more questions. And yeah, I totally understand the point of, mm, from some ethics perspective, they are not. Um, they are still giving employment to persons to be in charge of certain responsibilities and to, take the project to a good port. But uh, like I said, the thing that artificial intelligence is based on something that is already created. I don't know, whatever, because it's not possible at this point that artificial intelligence can create by themselves things in terms of, maybe just draw a line without, just because, I don't know if that's the case with you. Like, I just want to sit down and start drawing, and whatever I draw, it comes from me, and
mhm,
maybe it's not perfect, but it's something unique, right? It's something unique, and
yeah,
nobody told me to do the way I did it, right? It came from my imagination, it came from my talent, and I just sat down and start drawing whatever I want. Artificial intelligence cannot do anything without anyone, specifies that.
yeah,
So I have reading also some comments saying that this is a soulless art, which, I mean, from a point of view, you can
yeah,
also consider that part. Um, but looking at specifically now, I need to, mention it because this is looking at the art that is present. in games such as Wingspan. And when
Okay.
you can take a look and see the things that persons, real persons, can create,
Mhm.
I would like to ask you as well how long it takes you to create the part or all the illustrations that
Yeah.
you were in charge for the game, because there are a ton of cards, and
Yeah.
we only consider it the base game. Now we can take a look and talk about the expansions, right?
Yeah.
It's just a huge amount of cards. So
Yeah.
for me, just trying to imagine manually drawing and
Yeah.
illustrating every single piece of art or every single
Hmm.
um, picture or illustration here. I don't know. I need to ask you how long it take you. It took.
So each of my drawings take at least 8 hours. One drawing, just as a simple bird, 8 hours
Mm,
of drawing. If it's in flight, it could be 16, 20. I've done art for Wingspan that has taken 30 hours,
okay.
just one card.
Wow.
And just doing all the art for the base game, it took us like 6 months, but it was brutal. It was just
I
working
can
like
imagine.
16 hours a day, barely
Wow.
sleeping. It was a lot of work to make sure we had the art on time for Stone Mayer
Hmm.
games. And yeah, it is a lot of work.
No,
Hmm.
yeah. I mean, I can only imagine, and I'm pretty sure that this has to be a really, really exhausted work and something, but at the same time, I think the satisfaction has been
Yeah,
great,
yeah.
right? Because
It's
when you think about all the time you spent drawing and just considering every single interaction that you should have with the designer, with
yeah.
all the teamwork that you have done, and then everything came and just presented the way it was, and seeing people around the world playing the game and just seeing your illustrations around the world, I think that will be something, I don't know, maybe at the
It's
at the
crazy.
first at the first it was like very impressive, and then I would like to hear what else.
I mean, I still don't believe it. It's amazing, and then
Mhm.
people love it so much, and people show me how much they love the game and they are that I'm so honored. Like I made an entire career out of one game.
Nice.
It blew out, and it's I'm so grateful. I feel fulfilled. Like if I die today, I left my mark in the world. It's
Uh,
out there. It'll be there
wow, yeah,
forever.
not wow. That's amazing. I
Yeah,
think that's something that, well, not everyone, but some people pursue it as well, trying to leave whatever our, mark behind us, either in the
yeah.
persons we know, or now imagine something else. No, and you were awarded, right, from BGG,
Hmm.
right, from
Yeah,
the work you made, right?
yeah. We got also I cannot pronounce it, but the games in Germany, the
The spiel,
Spinel.
spiel,
Yes,
yeah, okay,
we got that, and it's just. I mean, the game is everywhere. It's translated. It has been translated in so many languages,
yeah, no, it's
and
crazy.
it's so I'm going to tell you a story
Yeah, yeah,
about how it all started. It's just because I just got excited
perfect. Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about it.
please, please. I'm so
and, and
excited too.
and I'll try to bring it down to the artificial intelligence and a little bit of what I think about this subject. And
Hmm.
is when I started drawing for so many games, I had no idea who they were, what the
Okay.
company was. Um, I used to live in St. Louis, Missouri, and that's where Mayer Games is based.
Hmm.
So my oldest kid used to go to the same school as one of Stone Mayer Games co-founders.
Wow.
So they we started chatting, as parents picking up our kids from
Wow.
school.
It's
And
a pretty
then
cool
they were like,
story.
oh, we friend each other on Facebook. So I guess that's how they knew that I was an artist. And so one day, Alan Stone, who is the co-founder, it was Alan and Jamie
Right.
that founded Stone Mayer Games. So he asked me, "You're an artist?" And I'm, yes. What's up? And then he told me a little bit, oh, we're looking for an artist to do some birds like this, da, da, da. Then they asked me if I was interested, maybe talking to them. And I've never
Hmm.
worked in the industry before.
Hmm.
So I said yes. And then at the time, I was working with Anna, which is one of the other amazing
Ana
illustrators for the
Jaramillo,
game,
right?
Ana Maria Martinez.
Ah,
It's Ana Maria Martinez Jaramillo.
yeah.
So so we were friends since high school, so we were
Oh,
working together already.
nice,
And
nice.
then I told her about it, and then we worked together on a bird. So I did the drawing on pencil, and she worked on the graphics, because for Wingspan we need to do also some digital, touch ups, like erase a background so they can just move it, for just copy and paste basically for the cards.
Yeah.
um yeah.
Yeah, I'm
So
just sharing some of the illustrations
yes.
you made. Sorry. Yeah, please continue. Just wanted to share this with the audience.
Okay. Yeah. So we started drawing, and then I really had no idea what this company was. I just knew they wanted me to draw birds. I drew the birds. They would pay me in batches, so I would do like 10 drawings. They would pay me for those.
Okay. Okay.
No big deal. Until that year, it was 2017. I went to Colombia because I had like two girls, and then I needed help, you know, from my mom so I could draw more and faster because we had a really tight deadline. So I went to Colombia, and I went out with a friend, and then I was telling him a little bit about this project, and he asked me like, "Wait a minute, what's the name of this company?" Who's he's into board games, and then I
Uh-huh.
said, and he's like, "What?"
So until that point, you didn't know that you were working for a board game company.
I mean, I knew they were working, but I thought it was just a small, like a
Okay.
garage
Okay.
thing, kind of
Okay.
very small company. I had no
I
idea.
I
I thought
I
it was
hope
something local,
I
for
don't want
some friends.
to be personal here, but I expect or I hope that they didn't pay you as a local garage company for your work. That's the only thing I
No,
want to say.
no,
I just hope that.
they are very fair.
Okay,
They
perfect.
they are
Yeah, good
they
to
are
know.
really
Good to know.
good. Yes. So my friend was like so excited. He's
Mm.
like, you really have no idea. I was clueless.
Hmm.
And then in the same trip, because I stayed in Colombia like for 3 months, just drawing with Anna,
Mm.
they sent me the cover of the game, and it was just out of luck. Like that one that is behind you, the wingspan,
Hmm.
that bird, the scissor tail flycatcher.
Yeah,
I just I never knew that they were going to use that for the
the cover.
cover.
Nice.
They gave me a list. They gave us a list with the 100, I'm sorry, and 70 something birds. I would talk to Elizabeth Hargrave, the designer.
Hmm.
She gave me feedback because I was also not expert in birds. I was just good at drawing what I'm seeing, but it could be anything. So I would just,
Okay.
but I
Okay.
didn't know much about birds at the time. So she was guiding me. Like we had this file. Then she helped me to look through images and say like I like this the pose on this bird and this one because
Oh.
we use like photographers. So in
Hmm.
order, like I use reference, like these are photos that I see, oh I like this bird, but it was a real picture. But then I have to contact the photographer and ask for permission
Oh.
because you need to avoid any copyright infringements.
Right. Right. Right.
So So she was helping me out like this and like that, to helping us, me and Anna. And then I just I received the image of the cover with the bird that I drew, that I
Hmm.
had no idea. It was just one that I chose because I liked it. Nothing particular. I
Hmm.
mean, just like the pose. And
Okay.
then it, they chose it, and it's everywhere now. So it was
Yes.
just I don't know. It's like being at the right, you know, it was the
Everything
right
is
time
just
at the right moment, kind of
right.
thing.
It's amazing.
Meeting meeting the right people, having also the skills to do the job when it was presented to
Absolutely.
me,
Absolutely.
and then having also like the all the support that I needed to be able to work on this, being able to work with Anna to together work on all of this was just amazing. And then why I'm telling you all of this, it's it brings me to the artificial intelligence that I don't think it can replace humans in that way of creating something that is so unique. This something like what happened to me can happen in a scenario with something that is not, that is artificial. It's
Hmm.
I just, I worked, I did my best, the very best that I could,
Look at
because
this.
at first I tried to do some smaller birds that
Hmm.
didn't take that long, but then I was not happy. Then I had to ask Sonmeyer Games to give me more time to finish drawings, because I said, listen, I cannot work on this deadline that you're giving me, because in
Mm.
that time I'm not able to do my very best,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
I would not do anything by my but my very best. And then
Hmm.
they ended up expanding the time, and then I worked really really hard. I sacrificed many things, and then I was hugely rewarded
Hmm.
with this. And I don't know how that could happen
No,
with something, what I
yeah,
mean?
artificial. Without yeah, with something artificial, not definitely. I totally get it. And this also, took us back to the initial conversation we had about this because, uh, I mean, you take a look on this, and I honestly don't believe that by any means something that is not human can replicate at all. Because the details, the way that is, drawn, the way that was imagined, created, all the
Mhm.
process, all the background, because this is not only just, like I said, it's not just seeing something and try to recreate it, by put it using pencils and,
Yeah,
it's not that. There was a lot of work behind that.
yeah,
There was a lot of work that involves the creation of something unique, something that even when
yes.
the style is not, um the style could be, or you can consider the style somehow different between
Hmm.
yours and Anna's. I
Yeah.
think that
Oh no. Did you mute? I'm sorry, I cannot hear you.
I can you
Okay. Yeah,
sorry,
sorry.
sorry, I was my mistake. I think I mute my
Okay.
make my mistake. So what I'm
Yeah.
saying, what I was saying is, even when your style or the way you draw is could be, or you may consider different as the way or the style of Anna,
Hmm.
uh, the game, all the art in the game doesn't look like different, or you
Hmm.
can even think that all the illustrations were generated or were created by one person,
Yeah.
right? Because even when there was, like I said, styles and different ways of work,
Yeah.
it makes sense. It is not a
Yes.
huge difference, and that also is it's coming from. persons that have like similar i- similar ways to work or
Yeah.
similar feedback from specific persons, and they decided to
Mhm.
create based on that. So it's a lot of work that I honestly don't think that will be easy for artificial intelligence or by any other technological way just to recreate the way it was in this particular case, and as in
Yeah.
this case from in any other ways. So I first of all would like to thank you for all the hard work that you put and the effort and the
Oh.
love you put in the game. um, this was Now let me tell you a short story about the game. This was one of the games, the first game I ever play when I got into the hobby. I used to go to a local store near DC, and they still now, I think nowadays they still have or host some game nights on Thursdays. So after I finish my work at the office, I just uh, basically went and walked through the to the store, and then play a couple of games. And one night after playing the first game that took my attention, that really caught my attention, was precisely Wingspan. It was just the box right there, and
Yeah.
above the box was like one of the best games of this year. And it was like, wow, that I'll definitely. I have never played before, and it was one of the first games that before I tried the game, I directly purchased the game right away. So there was no exploration phase, there was no testing phase. It was just straight to the cashier and give me the game. Then I brought it to my house. I was very excited. I read the rules right away, and that very night we played our first game of Wingspan. Everything was amazing. The production is great. The dice tower, everything was so new for us.
Yeah.
And imagine someone that it just recently got into the hobby and
Hmm.
realized that games could be that way, could be like this. It was like,
Yeah.
wow, this is amazing. This is
It brought
amazing.
it,
Mhm.
it is, and it brought a lot of people into the hobby, uh, because it happened to also be like during the pandemic, like birding really took off,
Hmm.
and that's when Wingspan like just really got like huge, because lots of people were like outside, because many people were locked in, so we hadn't we didn't have much to do but go outside and like look for the birds. And lots of people got into birding and into board games for the same reasons. And
Right.
then it just it's incredible,
It,
incredible. And I went to Gen Con, I think in 2019,
hmm?
and then people approaching me and say, like, oh, we are birders, but we got into
Wow.
gaming for Wingspan, and that is
How cool is that?
that.
How cool is
Yeah,
that?
it's so
No,
cool.
that's amazing.
Hmm.
That's amazing. And yeah, I mean, it's just like you said before. I think also this game came out in the right time,
Yeah,
the right moment, and that also contribute. I'm not saying that it was because of the pandemic that this game, got huge and everything. I
yeah,
honestly think that if the game, because there were also other games that came out during the pandemic and they were not successful as Wingspan is, but at some point, just like you said, the way or the thematic of the game also helped to make a huge success of this game. But also when you try to, for me, was like the thematic is just bird observer and try to bird collector.
yeah,
For me, it's like, "Well, I don't know if we will get," but I got it already. And say, okay,
yeah,
let's give it a try.
yeah.
Now you know that the Wingspan comes with the little booklet, to score for
Yes.
scoring. I'm not lying. I wish I could have this in hand. I it's the game that I have played the most in my life. I finished the booklet with my wife,
That's awesome.
and by the time the first time we played the game, we have my mother-in-law here with us. You know, for she stays with us for from time to time, and she was also got into board games because of that. She loves
Yeah.
Wingspan. She was, but that time there was no translation of the game in Spanish. There was only
Hmm.
the English version. She doesn't speak English, but she learned to play because
That's,
we played a lot, and she memorized what the birds did, and she just
yeah.
like and just the graphic and everything, because also the game, from time to time she asks us, oh, what do these birds does, and blah blah. Oh, okay, but she knows and she learns and she loves the
Yeah.
game. And every time I say, oh, it's a new expansion coming, oh, I like to play it, I would like to be there right now because I like to play the game. I'm waiting for her because we haven't had the opportunity to play the last expansion, the
Uh-huh.
Oceania expansion with her. We have everything about the game because of that, because we care about the game and we have a
Yeah.
very good memories
Mm.
with that game. And I stopped on purpose. I stopped because this bird in particular is one of the birds like I said, I played the game a lot. I know exactly what this little owl does.
The
This is a stealer. This is a
power.
yeah, this little guy steals rats from other players. So I love
Yeah.
this bird because every time I play with my mother-in-law, I use this bird every time I can, and I just use it to bothering her, and she was like, "Oh, I hate that owl." So, and I was thinking that at some point for her birthday, I will give it this prince to her, just
Oh,
to remind
that's
her, because
cool.
she knows what this owl
Yeah.
do as well. So yeah,
I
so
love
that
that.
yeah. Uh,
That's awesome.
so it's amazing. I want to briefly mention we have Adri Mora here. She's Wonder Meeple in the social media. We totally forgot about the people in the streaming. Sorry about that, guys. Um, we just, I hope you understand. We have a really great personality here with us tonight. But I just want to mention here that Adri also saying that it was one of the first games in her collection as well, and she loved it because she loved birds, watching birds, and listening to them. So it's the whole combo for her as well,
Yeah.
right? It's part of this, and
That's
yeah,
awesome.
it's just amazing. And um, like I said, the game itself can give you the feeling of playing. Maybe if you can use the mechanics and stuff for other thematic, maybe work. But honestly, I think everything fits perfect for the game. So
Yeah.
I'm glad. I'm glad that I cannot believe that I'm having a conversation and a conversation and getting this close to one of the persons that helped to bring this game alive, and one of the games that I love the most. So
Aw,
I'm honored. I
thanks.
feel honored. Thank you so much once again.
No,
Thank you.
I appreciate it. I just drew the birds. I'm not really part of the behind the scenes more than drawing the birds. I think it's
Hmm.
Elizabeth who has all the recognition. I mean, be
Hmm.
able to think about creating this. It just well, it is as you said. It's so like everything worked
It's a whole.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that it. Mm,
Yeah. I don't want to say that because there is also the box mentioned Elizabeth as a designer, and mentioning you, Anna,
yeah,
and Betsovel, who is also a
yeah,
huge artist recognized in the board game industry. She has been
yeah. She's
working a lot of
amazing.
projects. But
Yes.
I don't know how much she contributed also in the art working. I consider myself an ignorant in that part. I only know that today I'm talking with one of the persons that this box is printed here. But that's all
Thank.
that matters today. But I want to also give some recognition to
Yeah.
all the amazing women that were part, because also this was one of the greatest things here. It was
Yeah.
100% women work behind the scenes,
Yeah.
and they gave us an amazing, one of the greatest games ever created so far
Aw.
in the gaming industry. So thank you for that, and I really appreciate all your time. normally, like I said, is we only use an hour for talking, but it's been just so many, so many things to talk about, and as you can see, it's just 1 hour and a half has passed already, and it feels like it was just 20 minutes for me. Um, but yeah, I really once again want to thank you also in behalf of Axel, who unfortunately wasn't here. I bet he will love to be here as well. But well, unfortunately, he had something coming up tonight. But yeah, I just wanted to close the episode. We normally what we do at the end of our podcast, we have this section called Chismecito, the most tasty section of our podcast, because this is the thing that we speak with no nothing on our behalf, on our back to support whatever we're saying. We are just purely saying whatever we have or we encounter in the internet. So
Okay.
in this case, in this particular case, having the opportunity to talk with one of the person involved in Wingspan, I would like to know if you can share with us something that maybe you are, if possible, something that you are currently working in the world of Wingspan, or just giving us some chismes other than
You
that.
know, if I say something, I might get replaced by
Oh,
artificial
okay, okay.
intelligence
Don't
sooner.
say no, no, no. We don't want that. We don't want that. Okay, yeah, that's enough. That's enough. Well, good
No,
night,
you
everyone.
know, no. Well, there is confidentiality that I do need to manage, but it's. I think we have 3 expansions left.
Well, that's the chismecito. My God.
So
Perfect.
we are
Wonderful.
working on. I am currently working on the next expansion,
Mm,
and then it usually takes like roughly 6 months to do the art, and they do production, and I don't know when they'll release it, but we are working
mm.
already on the art for the next one. So that's as much as I can
I consider
give
now.
you.
I consider myself now very important because we have this exclusive news. Everyone, I hope you know, enjoy this and support, because if you want more exclusives, you have to come here and subscribe and watch our episodes. You know, you know what you're missing if you're not yet subscribed to our channel. So yeah, that's great. That's huge, and I'm positive that everything that comes out from Wingspan, at least in this house, we will be one of the first that have the whatever is coming from Wingspan in the next coming years, maybe months. I don't know. Some point in the future, uh,
We'll see.
right? Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
see.
at
We'll see.
first, yeah, we'll see. It'll come out
Oh,
eventually. It's uh-huh.
sorry about that. Yeah, just wanted to ask you because one of the things that we also talked in our last episode with Axel was that I read that Steinmeier Games is going to release a new set of
Yeah,
cards that were I don't know if the name
yeah,
redesigned or redrawn or where.
yeah.
Not, it's the same cards that are already available in the game, some cards, but with a different artwork, right? Am I correct?
So it's the I think that they already releases the fun. It's art made by the fans of
Mm-hmm.
Wingspan,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's already out. I'm not sure.
I think Jamie
I think
just
I saw
post
something.
something in the social media. That's what I'm saying. This is
Yeah,
Chismecito. We are talking just what from the first thing we saw. We never had something really to share other than rumors. So, but yeah, the rumor was because I saw it, the post from Jamie, and it caught my attention because it was like,
yeah.
what a moment. Do we
I'm
need
not
it?
sure. I think it's the same card.
Mm-hmm.
It's just different art. Oh, actually, no. I have no idea. I don't know if they're going to change the powers for the birds or anything. But I think it is online. Like we can go and look it up. But it's so exciting to have. I mean, Winspan has inspired so many people and inspiring people to draw birds. I see it with my kids, and my kids want to draw birds all the
Oh,
time.
that's cute.
And I
Nice.
hear old stories. People like I receive mess like emails of people telling me stories about like, oh, this very reminds me of my grandma or this person
Wow.
or something, like all the time. It's just so cool.
Now you have
So
another story that that owl, particular owl, reminds me
yes,
my mother-in-law. Now you know what? Yeah, you know one more.
that's the most passive aggressive thing I've heard. If you give her that
That's
print,
me. That's me. That's me. Yeah. I like
that's
that.
funny.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. And you're okay with that. You feel good with that, with the fans working on the
Of
card.
course,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I'm honored if
Mm,
can my work inspire people, and
awesome.
that's the
Awesome.
biggest compliment.
Awesome. That's huge. I would like to share with you something that Adro just also mentioned that hold on, without the birds, this game will be soulless. So your work is amazing. So work
Oh,
the magic.
gracias, Adri.
And
She says,
we have Alba here from Maple San Benini saying that exactly what Adri said. Your work is huge part of the appeal of the game.
uh,
Yeah, I totally agree. Please don't piss me, don't get pissed with me and just mention that the again maybe, but I like it. I like the way it is. Come on. I
thank
love the
you
way it
so
is.
much.
No, it's been a pleasure to having you tonight. Um, like I said at the beginning of the podcast, I hope that you from the time has passed in the episode you feel more comfortable and relaxed because that's the idea. At the beginning it's always trying to what to expect, what to do, and you can just say whatever. It will be a casual conversation between people that enjoy talking about a lot of aspects that surround the board gaming industry. And one of the things, and one of the most important things in this industry, in my opinion, is the great artwork that the artists and the illustrators, as you are, uh, does for the gaming industry. Like I said, love, it's love at the first sight. It's that
Yeah.
phrase is for something, right? Means something for a reason. And it's because sometimes you can just take a look at the company and a picture, a cover from a board game,
Hmm.
and it got you, and it got you, and it happened to
Yeah.
me often. I know that for sure. I know that for sure. So I will not. I don't have an. I think any chismecito that I can share with you now. It will be um, not. It will not have the same value as the one that Natalia just gave us. So I will just keep that part from me tonight, and I will just leave it as is. So Natalia, I wanted to thank you once again. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your art. Thank you for all the hard work that you're doing. You done and you keep doing for the gaming industry. We really appreciate it. I think I'm talking in the name of a lot of gamers out there that they're also really love the work that you and Anna and Beth and Elizabeth has been doing throughout all these years. So thank you so much.
No, thank you so much for the invitation. This was really fun. Invite me
Yeah.
again.
Oh,
Yeah,
perfect. Yeah. Anytime this is your house. Perfect. Yeah. Why not? I'll take out.
we don't need Axel anymore.
I wanted to hear that all night. Thank you. So, after game nights, we have new host. So from now on, Natalia and the Master Nipple, new combo. So expect more. Wait for more. It will be more
And I have to
content coming
start
out.
playing now.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. I know he
Oh
will be
man,
pissed,
thank you
but
so
at the
much
same
for
time, he
having
will
me.
understand. Eventually, he will understand. It was for the good
Oh
reason.
goodness.
Thank you. Thank you so
Oh,
much, Natalia.
no, thank you so much, and thanks for the kind messages too and the invitation. I had lots of fun. I
I I I
appreciate you.
I will be sharing with you any other comments that we receive throughout because, like I said, this is live and it will be in our YouTube channel. So we still have more comments and interactions coming from in the next day. So thank you and hope to see you soon
Yes.
again, whatever you're doing, and we're expecting you here at some point again.
Oh yes, I'll be
Okay.
back for
Oh,
sure.
perfect. Thank you. Thank you,
Take
Natalia.
care. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Have a good night. And to all you out there that were watching, thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. We're waiting for you to be here as well next week with Axel. I don't know, but for sure we'll have a live here in After Game Night because this is what we're talking every time we have a good time spending playing some board game. So thank you so much. See you later.